Hey, so we're looking at what, Wednesday, April 15th, and we're going to try to do this teaching thing with the gospel according to Larry. I do have a PowerPoint we're going to go through. I think for most of you guys, the way it should be set up is even when I'm doing the PowerPoint, which is going to be on my other computers. So if you see my eyeballs going in this direction, it's because I have the screen I'm recording here in front of me. And then over here to this side, I have the screen on my computer. So I'm trying to do two different things at once. But I believe for most of you, it should still have a little picture of my face, like up here in the little corner, even when I do the PowerPoint sharing thing. I forced my daughters to come into my room yesterday so I could go through and practice doing all of this. And so they became my guinea pigs, not like Caleb's guinea pig, but more like actual guinea pigs. I got to do testing on them and stuff like that. Let's see. And again, if you have a question, you're more than welcome to raise hand on there, and it should pop up on my screen that you have hand raised, and then I can answer and stuff like that. No, not this yet. Hang on. Let's go to attempting to do screen share of PowerPoint. Let's see here. Wait, no, let's try here. Let's see what happens. All right, I believe this is working, at least on some level. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? You can see PowerPoint screen. Does that work for you guys? That's what I'm seeing on mine too. Yay. All right, let's try some level of normality and see how things go. Wednesday, April 15th. I tried to change things. So now up there it says you only need to clear off your table, bed, floor, as opposed to your desk. Because I'm assuming most of you guys are probably not sitting at a desk. You're probably, well, judging from some of your pictures, laying on the floor or the bed or random place like that. So I tried to change things to work out well. Oh, I put Outsider's Novel on there, but that is not Outsider's Novel. I'm hoping I have the right screen up for you guys. We'll find out in a moment. Is someone drawing on my screen? I did not know you guys could do that. Things I'm learning. Stop being hooligan children. Anyway, Camp Tecumseh Sadness. I realized as I was setting stuff up for today that this would be the day I'd be going through and doing Camp Tecumseh groups and explaining things to you. And so as I was going through my information from before, I sort of figured all that stuff out, which was definitely a little bit on the sadness side. And so I do have a little Camp Tecumseh thing I'm going to show you here in a moment. Does it allow me to? Hang on. Seeing if I can. All right. So if you keep drawing on my screen, you're going to force me to lock you guys out. So I'm trying to be nice on this one. Let's see. And to there, and then to come back. Let's see. I'll try it again. You guys are going to force me to be mean to you. No, I don't want to do that. I want to share screen. And let's see. Let's go to here. Hey, better to learn with you guys than to learn with my regular kids who are even more hooligans than you. Not saying you guys aren't hooligans, but you're definitely on some level of hooligan-ishinity. All right. Let's try that again. All right. We'll see what happens. If it works, it works. If not, so be it. All right. Let's see. I have no idea how this is going to go. Obviously, we're learning as we figure it out now because some of you guys are trying to draw on my screen. If it continues, what will happen is I'll just stop doing a Zoom and I will just go to recording a YouTube video and you won't get to be having the live version at all. So be careful with the choices you make. Unlike other teachers, if you've not learned again, I will be horrible and mean to you. Don't draw on my thing because I've not figured out how to stop you, you horrible hooligan children. Skyward is updated. I went through and graded all of the quizzes or all of the tests except for 4. I think I have 4 of them that were turned in late last night. I have not had a chance to grade. So if you go on Skyward, it should have your myth test on there, except for the 4 people who took it like late last night or something like that. So that should be doing well. All the rest of them, I will be going through and grading this afternoon and getting put on there. So that should get updated. All right. Trying to work. Do a thing. Aha. Put this on there just for sadness. Charger challenge. I realized that we would have been having the Charger challenge coming up, and so this was the one from last year as I was going through and taking a look at it. And so with the Charger challenge, no, we're not going to get a chance to continue doing Charger challenge, as awful and sad as that's going to be. So I have no idea what's going to happen as far as Charger challenge goes. on here, it's not showing. I'm trying to see a view option. I don't want to see your faces, although you are adorable. I want to make sure I can see if you guys have questions. Make this go away. Go away. That's interesting. And hang on still. Haha. I think that'll work better. And all right, I was making sure if you guys had questions, I'd be able to see them. All right, and then back to here, learning. If you don't have the Gospel According to Larry book, I do have an ebook version that you are more than welcome to use. I will be doing some reading and stuff like that with it, but if you have the paper copy, you're good to go. If you don't have paper copy, either A, because you were absent on that Friday when I handed them out, then hopefully I find out today when I get the chance to go back into the school building, and then I can deliver it to you. I will creepily come by your house and put it into your mailbox and stuff like that. So that is my goal as far as the book goes. Till then, you're welcome to listen to my voice as I read it out loud, or you're also more than welcome to use the ebook version. Although those of you who have the book, if you've taken a look at it, it's got tons of footnotes in it, which is sort of how the book is written. So the ebook version is really weird trying to figure all that part of it out, but just figured I'd give you a heads up on that one. All right, so here is what you're going to have to do for today's question. There is a question for attendance. So what you're going to end up doing on here is you have 5 questions you're going to get a chance to respond to. So what I'm going to have you do is you pick any one of these 5. There is a new room name. I upgraded my Socrative. So now you don't just go to Kyvorb. Going to Kyvorb takes you to the test. You're going to have to go to one that says Kyvorb question. And when you go to Kyvorb question, it's going to have these directions on there. And it's going to say, hey, you're going to need to reply to one of these. You are more than welcome to do that right now as we're going through and doing the talking. Normally this would be a bell work where you'd have to go through and do all 5 of your different responses, but I'm not going to make you do all 5 because Corona crazy. So instead, you just have to pick one of them and explain to me your answers. So here are the 5 things that are going to connect to our story that normally we get a chance and go through and do talky stuff about. These are all going to connect to the book. They're going to pop up for it where it says, 1, lying to your friends is okay as long as you mean well. The book has a big part of it where it's going to deal with you guys lying to your friends about different things. And so whether it's okay to lie to your friends if you have good intentions. Good intentions are going to be a big part of this. 2, it is okay to break the law as long as you have good intentions. So let's say right now that your family has no food, would it be okay to steal food if your family is starving because they have no other access to it? That is breaking the law, but you're doing it for good intentions. And so the idea of, do you say no, you have to follow the law at all times? Or is it the idea that at certain times it might be okay to break the law depending on what it is you're trying to do? So just thought I'd check that one. 3, the ability to be anonymous on the internet, chat rooms, email, etc. is a wonderful thing. Do you agree that you should be able to be anonymous? Now realize there's good and bad to you being anonymous. 1, you're anonymous, so that means creepy people can't come after you on the internet because they can't track down who you are. But it also means if you're anonymous, you can be a horrible person and write hateful and horrible, nasty things about other people on there, and they can't find out who you are. You can also send hateful messages to people and they don't know who you are. So the idea of, do you think being anonymous on the internet is good, or should we set it up where when you're on the internet, it automatically connects to who you are? That's going to play a big role in the book, the idea of being anonymous and the goods and bads of it. 4, clothes only matter if they have a brand name on them. The idea of generic clothing is bad. That's also, again, going to pop up in the book, the idea of what do you think about generic clothing versus actual clothing that you're supposed to wear and stuff like that. And then 5, could you limit yourself to a total of 75 things? Not counting like shampoo and soap and food, but actual items that you own, like pairs of shoes, shorts, posters, books, stuff like that. One of the things they talk about in the book is trying to limit how much, as they call it, crap we have in our lives. And so they challenge themselves to sort of limit themselves to 75 total items that they own. Anytime you get a new thing, you have to get rid of an old thing. So do you feel that is a thing that you would be able to do? All right. So anyway, answer any one of those 5 things, and that will be onto the Kyborg question. Again, Camp Tecumseh, just to make myself sad, this was the packing list we'd be going through and talking about. If we were doing Camp Tecumseh this year, which we're not, we would be going next week. And so with this, I wanted to talk about, with Camp Tecumseh, refunds. I'm sending an email out to your parents. If your parents have paid for Camp Tecumseh, yes, they can get the money back. That'll be one of the things I send out. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to find a way to get the money back to everybody, but they will be getting the money back. So if your parents have asked, yes. They can also choose to donate it for kids next year if they would like to, or they're more than welcome to go through the process and let them know. I'll send that out to them if they are wanting it. And so as far as Camp Tecumseh goes, also as far as Camp Tecumseh goes, no, we are not going to be like redoing Camp Tecumseh in the fall. There is no other time for us to do it. It is just pretty much going to be, we're out of luck. And yes, you may be sad, but trust me, I've been looking forward to my daughter going for 13 years, and that got robbed from me. And so I even became a director so that I could control things when she went, and now I can't do that. So yes, I am absolutely as sad as you are, and I tried to find ways to rearrange it, but the issue is we still have no idea how things are going to change in the fall, so there's just no way to go about rearranging and stuff like that. Assuming so far none of you have a question, if you do, then you can pop up a little question thing. Every once in a while I'm just checking on the screen to make sure that you guys don't have a question so that I'm not ignoring you, but other than that, we should be good. One last Camp Tecumseh picture, because when you go to camp, you get to meet your counselors and stuff like that. Again, however sad you are, realize we have counselors who have been looking forward to this as their senior year to go out and do it, and now they can't, and they're also hosed. So as much like you guys are putting in the chat, as I see you creeping up everyone, yes, I feel the same thing. It is a big, sad moment. I mean, not trying to do the whole emo thing, but definitely feel sadness. Emotions are good. All right, again, throwing up the Kyborg question just to remind you, because I have kids who are going to come back and watch this video later because they're slacking and they're not part of it right now. But for those of you who have, hopefully you've logged in and it's working out well enough. All right. Now we're going to get into our book. All right, so with gospel, with this book here, this was not what I really fully wanted to do with this end part. I wanted to do The Princess Bride. I love Gospel According to Larry, and we're going to have a fun time with it, but it's a fairly short, quick, easy book. If you flip through it, I mean, it's not going to take you real long to read it. For those of you who don't hate reading, it's a book you could probably get done in a day. And Princess Bride has a lot of fun things that happen in it. Problem is, I have no way of getting you copies of Princess Bride because I can't even get into the school. I've not been to my classroom since March 16th, so like a month ago. So I can't even get the books to get to you. So luckily I got you these books before we left, or we'd really be in trouble. But we'll still have fun with this one. It's just not quite the torture that the Princess Bride is going to be. But so on and so forth. All right. So on this one, there is a website called Gospel According to Larry. It's a little bit different than how it used to be. This book was way back in 1999 when I first started teaching, and it's sort of based on a true story about a kid who went through and did a thing. And so he came up with a website called Gospel According to Larry, but then it was bought and ironically, as we're going to find out here shortly, commercialized, and it was kicked over to being and going through and selling all these books and stuff like that. So if you go to it nowadays, it is definitely not the same thing it used to be, because it used to be all about changing the world and stuff like that. And now it's no longer about going through and changing the world so much. It's more about selling this particular book. For those of you who have book, I'm going to be reading with you. For those of you who don't have book, I guess you just get to listen to my melodic voice as we go through. And I do have a whole bunch of pictures that we're going to be showing you. See, those of you who are drawing on my thing right now, that's not awful, because at least you're trying to not be completely disruptive. So I'll take it as a small win, he says glaringly. All right. We have to start the part that says a note to the reader, because it's actually important to the actual book. So those of you who have it, normally you look at that and you think it's like a boring preface thing that's not all that important, but here it's going to actually be that way. For those of you drawing on the screen, from what I understand, the issue is if I go to a new screen, All that stuff stays on there. So you're going to have to make sure you erase it before I go to the next screen. If not, then, strangling children and stuff like that. A note to the reader. While I was, this by the way is written by the author, Janet Tasji, and she's writing the note to the reader. While I was waiting in line at the local grocery store, a young man approached me and asked me for the time. I told him 4:10. I remember it distinctly, and continued emptying my carriage onto the conveyor belt. He hovered around the store's exit and approached me again as I left. He held a copy of my first novel, True Confessions. Aren't you a writer? I told him I was. I've got a great story for you, he said. Oh, yeah? I pushed the shopping cart toward my car. You know who the person to tell that story is? He shook his head. You. He smiled, then offered me a bundle of typed pages held together with twine. It looked like a thesis, but smelled like the bottom of the earth. I didn't take it. There are lots of great publishing houses out there. I'd start in New York. You can always go the agent route, too. I finished loading the groceries into my car, then gave him my best nice to meet you smile. You don't understand, he said. I'm not even supposed to be here. I closed the trunk and looked at him. Blonde hair, half grown out into its natural brown, serious eyes, slight build, peaceful smile, 17, 18 years old. He looked vaguely familiar. This has to get published. He pressed the papers into my hand. I don't know what else to do. He stood on one leg, the other one bent and tucked against it. It was a yoga position my son and I practiced all the time. Tree pose? I asked. He nodded. I'm trying to stay balanced. Real quick, I can go to the next screen and show you guys. If you don't, well done. This is a tree pose. For those of you who do yoga, for PE right now, I think yoga is one of the options you guys can do for the different things. And so you can do the tree pose. To be honest, I learned how to do the tree pose from Nintendo Wii. We had one of those little balance boards things you could stand on, and one of the things was the tree pose. And so that was how I first learned how to do my yoga and the tree pose and stuff like that. I think I can even stand back, see if I can get into the screen. Tree pose. Hopefully I can pop up on your guys' screen. If you guys feel the need to do it in your own little background, you can do your own little tree pose too. Anyway, tree pose. Moving on from there. He nodded. I'm trying to stay balanced. Aren't we all? He seemed completely unself-conscious. I just came back from Walden Pond. Have you ever been there? Many times. He pulled the paperback book, Walden, which I think I have a copy of. There you go, Walden. You ever been there? Many times. He pulled the paperback book, Walden, from his back pocket and started to read. To be a philosopher is not merely to have subtle thoughts, nor even to found a school, but so to love wisdom as to live according to its dictates, a life of simplicity, independence, magnanimity, and trust. He looked at me, eyes shining. Isn't that the best? What do you say to a kid standing on one leg while quoting Thoreau? I told him I'd read his manuscript. I set it up like a term paper, he said. I typed it on an old manual typewriter in the woods, and then I pulled stuff from the web, added some biblical quotes. He smiled. It'll all make sense. You'll see. He placed his foot firmly on the ground. If you decide not to help me, I'll understand. I think I have more copies of the book. There you go. You talk about Walden and civil disobedience, Thoreau. I asked how I should contact him. Oh, that's impossible. I'll contact you. On the drive home, I skimmed through the pages on my lap. I sat in my driveway and continued to read, unfazed by the gallon of ice cream melting in my trunk. I thought he looked familiar. I raced back to the grocery store to find him, but he'd already gone. By the time he called the next day, I had read his entire manuscript. Well, he asked. His anticipation reminded me so much of my own, waiting to get my first novel published. I told him I had another project I was working on, but thought his version of the story was important and needed to be told. I asked my editor, Christy, if she'd be interested in publishing the manuscript. After reading it, she was. Josh also gave me a disc with photos he'd taken. We placed them throughout the book. The epilogue was my idea to add another perspective. Working on the book, I sometimes found Josh's story inspirational. Other times it seemed eerie and devoid of meaning. In my research, I found some people who said Josh suffered from bipolar disorder or ADHD. One teacher even said he thought Josh had an acute Messiah complex. All I know is the young man I met several times over the course of a month seemed perfectly normal, but don't go by me. I sit in a room and make up stories all day. When my editor mailed me the galleys a few months ago, I talked to Josh the last time. You realize if we publish this, people will know that you're still alive, I said. The whole mess is going to start up again. His voice sounded calm and rational. It's really important for me to be honest right now, he said. I just want to write about the truth. I tried to reach him later to give him some copies of the book, but he disappeared. Again, this is his story. And that's where it actually begins, the gospel according to Larry. So essentially now what we get into is the actual book that gives you the intro. Janet Tasjian is technically the author, but as she says, it was not her story. It was given to her by a kid by the name of Josh Swinson, who wrote all of this, but he used her because she is a famous author at the time, and she was like known for doing these young adult books. So he gave her his manuscript for her to publish. That way more people would see it. But as we're also going to find out, that he kind of dies in the book, which is a thing we're going to get to coming up. And so publishing the book was a huge issue that we're going to get into. We have now hit our 20-minute sum mark, which is what I was aiming for. Tomorrow, well, one, I appreciate you guys have now given me homework because I'm going to figure out how to control the drawing on the screens before my regular class meets at 11. Thank you guys for giving me homework to figure out how to go about doing that. It was so sweet of you. Give you guys a little heart sign. Let's see, I'm gonna go over to here and do the stop sharing. And let's go back over to here and do this guy. And spotlight. Yay to me. So tomorrow, my goal is we're gonna do a bit more reading. Part of the drawback is like I want to be able to talk to you guys about the book. That's gonna be a little on the tough side. Like one, Messiah, when it says that he has a Messiah complex. Ooh, let's try this real quick. So for those of you at home, let's see how the handwriting thing works. Does anyone know what a Messiah does anyone know what a Messiah is? One, you should because of Sunday. Let's find out. Katie, what's a Messiah?
Messiah is Jesus.
Well, you're on the right track. Jesus is a type of Messiah. He is not the only Messiah. Does that help you?
Yeah, I know what it is. Isn't it like a savior?
Yeah, nicely done. Go, Katie. So, like for Christians, Jesus is going to be your Messiah. But if you're Muslim, it's going to be more along the lines of Allah. If you're Buddhist, it's more along the lines of Buddha. And so a Messiah is just a person who can save you. Now the question is, do you guys know what a Messiah complex is? Looking for the first hand to pop. Ooh, no one. If you Messiah. If not, ooh, we have one. Yes, TR. Oh, the Ryan Casper. Ryan, what's the Messiah complex?
Someone who wants to save people.
Not bad. More so than just wanting to save people is where you think that you exist to save people. So the doctors oftentimes get accused of having a Messiah complex. Kluber.
Oh, no, never mind.
Never mind. I'll mute you.
I just, never mind. Yeah, I hear that it.
I steal it from you. That's awful of me. What you're going to get in the book is that people are going to accuse the main character of being or having a Messiah complex because he ends up. If you guys, I was reading an article this morning about a guy by the name of PewDiePie. You may have heard of him. And PewDiePie, the YouTuber who has like 100 million followers, has a bit of a Messiah complex because he feels he himself can change the world because he has this army of followers. And if something makes him mad, he sends his army of followers after a person to sort of like destroy them. And so he sort of has a Messiah complex because he is so powerful. And so anytime you get that much power, it gives you sort of that Messiah complex. So that becomes an issue in the book. Your homework is to not read the book. Just bring it back for tomorrow and we'll get a chance to get into it from there. And I'll read a bit more. Hopefully stop, ask questions. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it was not a complete fail. That was educational. We learned. Hopefully you guys will go on and do the submitting on the Socrative thing. Any other questions from you guys? I mean, it's not the best thing. It's not. I'm watching you guys do the nonstop chatting on there. Wow, you guys are attacking poor PewDiePie. But whatever. I mean, he has enough money. He doesn't have to care about you. All right, so I got that. Let's see. Now I have to go figure out how to stop regular kids from drawing on the screen, waving to the rest of you. I think that's all the stuff I have for you. Oh, tomorrow we'll do the same thing again at 10 a.m. If you didn't see my message about Mrs. Randall, because I know that she sent out, she's doing one at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., but she only sent it out to kids in certain classes. But I talked to her, and she does not care which one you join. So if you want to join her 11 a.m. one after this, she was absolutely fine with that, even if that was not the group you were in. She was just trying to limit numbers somewhat, so she only split who she sent the messages to, but it's the same information either way. Whereas mine, I'm doing an advanced class and a regular class, and so you guys probably don't want to join my regular classes. We're just going to be doing the outsiders again. The saddest part about me doing the outsiders with the regular kids, by the way, I don't get to stab anyone. I look forward to that every year, my accidental stabbing where I trip and I stab a person and we all get to have happy thoughts about it. I can't like stab a person on the screen. It's not going to do anything. So anyway, sadness on that one. All right, what are you guys chatting about now? Does anyone know her code for 11? I do not. You can see everyone posts her code for the 11 o'clock one. 10 o'clock. Delaney, if 10 o'clock is too, I'm assuming you mean early and not ears, then you're more than welcome to just watch the video because I'm recording this and then posting it to YouTube and you can just watch that one. And that's fine with me also. And I have no issue with that. You don't have to watch the live version. I'm happy either way. There's a link on Skyward to Randall's. Oh, thank you, Caleb. So apparently on that one. And let's see. Andre. What's up, Andre? I saw you. Were you trying to raise your hand? I thought you were going like whoop whoop. No.
Well, I have a penguin. I'm kind of scared.
That's ooh, I have something. I've been holding it up in my window. It's a white tiger. For no particular reason right now, with any particular set of memes that might be going on, but I thought the idea of a white tiger in the background of mine would be fun too. Maybe
if I'm not feeling the penguin, I can have this cat, this cat, this monkey, Minecraft cow, dog.
That's quite
more realistic dog. Other monkey hugging monkey, and tiger.
Wow.
And nose medicine.
Last one's my favorite. All right, and
okay, I'll just have a bunch of plushies on the floor.
As you should. Rosie, I sent you a message on Remind, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, because I saw you walking your dog, so I was saying hey to you. But
oh yes, I saw you. Obviously, yes. I waved at you. I didn't mean to raise my hand. I was just pressing all the buttons. And sorry, my camera's off.
Success. All right, then Katie.
Why is there this sign in your background?
On my TikToks, I like to put them in the background just to mess with people. So I have another one, which is, if I can turn this, it's over there behind the guy on the wall. I have random ones just hidden around my office.
Interesting.
Yeah, I might have issues. There's a small chance of it. And
it was day 6 of turning our shed into a mini house. So we finished edging the ceiling and made it look really clean and nice.
Casper.
Yankee with no brim.
Okay, thanks. Caleb. Caleb? Done. That was easy. And Belt.
I have that Spider-Man poster.
Do you? Hang on, which one?
That one.
No kidding?
Yeah.
I actually have 2 of them over there. If I can turn them. I have a Batman, 2 Spider-Mans, and a Wolverine. They're like
Oh.
the hard wooden ones. You have good taste. Nicely done. Oh, sounds like someone just died. Oh, that was there. All right. Till tomorrow, when I have to wake you guys up early again. Make sure you submit your information on Socrative, and I guess that's it till tomorrow. See you guys later. Oh, you guys are figuring out how to screen share. Of course you are. Stop.